task, we are going to start familiarising ourselves with QGIS and setting up our Quantum GIS project. The first thing you need to do is navigate to wherever you have your Quantum GIS program in your computer. Now you can see I have mine stored on the taskbar down here, but you may also be able to access it from your Start menu or from a folder on your desktop like this. And don't forget that it's the QGIS desktop you need. Wherever your QGIS is, click on it and open it. It will open to a fairly standard GIS screen with 3 subscreens within it. You can see we have here recent projects, QGIS news, and project templates. Now normally this entire area that's occupied by these 3 subscreens is your data frame, where the data that you've added to the project is displayed. Now, unless you've worked with Quantum GIS before, you won't have any recent projects on this side, but you can see that if you have worked with it recently, it will pick up where your most recent Quantum GIS projects are stored and create a list of them on the left. If we go now to New Empty Project, you'll see something more like a standard GIS screen. You have your word type menus at the top. These are drop-down menus. You have your icons in various bars below them, some of them grayed out because we're not able to use them until we've added data or turned that function on. And on the left, we have at the top the browser. This is where you navigate through to the data that you are using, for example, in your documents here. And below that is the layers list, where that data that you have loaded into your project will appear in a series of rows as layers in the project. Down on the bottom right here, we have a series of useful boxes that provide us with information about the project. The coordinates in this box here are the coordinates of the cursor in the data frame. So as I haven't got any data at the moment, this isn't particularly meaningful, but it can be very useful when you're working on a project. Scale, again, is the scale at which the data is displayed in the screen. Again, very useful and very important to understand that. We don't often use magnifier or rotation, but again, they can be useful in future. And on the right-hand side here, this EPSG number, 4326, with a little globe with a hat on top of it, is the coordinate system of your project. And you can see if you hover over it, it says current CRS EPSG 4326 WGS 84. Now what that means is that this project is currently set to the World Geodetic System 1984. This is the default for Quantum GIS and a number of other GIS because it's the coordinate system that is used by most GPS. So your GPS on your phone, in your car will use this, and it's one of the most common systems that's used. Now we can change the coordinate system, and in this case we're going to set it to a useful one for Egypt. We're going to use the Universal Transverse Mercator Zone 36 North, and to change the coordinate system we could do one of 2 things. We can go to the project properties down here and choose coordinate CRS or coordinate reference system. The other way we can get to it is simply by clicking on the EPSG 4326 at the bottom right of the screen. It's interesting that quite a lot of things in various GIS have more than one way of accessing them, and this is partly because of the way GIS programming is often cumulative, so they will have started off with one simple way of accessing project properties, and then over time additional ones will have been added as programs are updated. So in the project coordinate reference system box, you need to choose the correct coordinate system. Now you can see I have 3 in my most recently used ones. Again, you won't have any here. I have EPSG 27700, which is the British grid used by the Ordnance Survey. I have the WGS 84, which is of course the default, and I have WGS 84/UTM Zone 36 North, and that's the one we're going to use. Now, if you don't have a handy list like me, what you can do is type WGS 84/UTM zone 36 north in your filter box, and you will see that the predefined coordinate reference systems in the box below reduce to a single option. So if you click that arrow next to projected, you will see the next layer is Universal Transverse Mercator brackets UTM. And if you click that arrow to open that up, you will see it then says the UTM zone 36 north that we are interested in. If I click on that, I get a very handy red line on my map in the bottom right of the project properties, which shows me where this particular coordinate reference system is valid. So in this case, it's valid for a strip of Turkey, Egypt, parts of Ukraine and Western Russia, and all the way down into Africa and as far south as Rwanda. Now, at the bottom of our coordinate reference system screen is a set of 4 boxes. Cancel and help are obviously self-explanatory. If you click apply, you will see the coordinate reference system has changed down here at the bottom right hand side of the data frame, but the project properties dialog box is still open. If I click OK, it will change the coordinate reference system if I hadn't already changed it by clicking apply, and it will also shut the dialog box. So that's a really useful tip. Apply simply enacts the changes you have made, and OK enacts the changes and closes the dialog box. We have now successfully changed the coordinate reference system to UTM zone 36 north, and we're going to save the project. Now, it's very important to regularly save your Quantum GIS project. GIS do not have an autosave on them, and they are prone to crashing, particularly when you add large files like satellite imagery, for example. So we're going to project, save as. You get the usual dialog box. I'm going to have to navigate through to somewhere sensible. So find a suitable folder in your file. Here we go. And then you give it a name. So this is going to be map. I'm going to call mine Egypt map. Save it, and we have now completed this task.